The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hi guys, I'm Em, also known as the Hungry Dominican, and I'm your host for Foodie Down Bronx, where we'll catch up with artists, entrepreneurs, and foodies who make a part of the incredible, ever-growing Bronx food scene. So if you like to eat, get your appetites ready and stay tuned. From BronxNet to the world, this is Foodie Down Bronx. Welcome to Foodie Down Bronx. Stay connected to us on Instagram at BronxNetTV, at Foodie Down Bronx, and follow me at The Hungry Dominican. On today's show, we'll talk about personal motivations, goals, social media, and of course, food, with Joss Montalvo of La Masa and one of Instagram's most popular influencers, Rosanna Anil, who goes by at NYC Food Muse. So guys, I'd like to start off by thanking everyone who checked out the first episode of Foodie Down Bronx, whether it was on TV, BronxNet.tv, my Instagram feed, or even on YouTube. The amount of positive messages I've been receiving have been extremely humbling, and I sincerely appreciate all of you who took the time out of your long 4th of July weekend to give it a look. Your support means the world to me and my amazing producer, Sanji Lopez, who has been a blessing to work alongside with, as well as the great crew right here in studio. All right, everyone, let's get ready for some Chew News, where we bring you this week's most important food news. This week, the Karate Kid himself and heir to the throne of the Fresh Prince, Jaden Smith, opened up I Love You Restaurant, a pop-up food truck aiming to supply vegan-based food to the homeless of downtown LA. You can find the account on Instagram at I Love You Restaurant. Jaden goes on to say that I Love You Restaurant is a movement that is all about giving people what they deserve, healthy, vegan food for free. This is, needless to say, quite a wonderful thing, and I not only suggest you follow the account, but make sure you take out some time this summer to volunteer at a soup kitchen or a food pantry. Occasionally, I volunteer at the Holy Apostles Soup Kitchen in Manhattan, and there are really no proper words to say the sense of joy that you get from helping someone in need. Jaden, I apologize for only thinking of you as that kid who dressed up as Batman that one time, and I also apologize for confusing you for your sister Willow, who has a tendency to whip her hair back and forth. You, sir, are a good man. Moving on to Bronx News, a report states that BronxWorks, a nonprofit that has 5 pantries in the borough, is struggling to keep up with demand from the communities it serves due to its lack of funding. The organization is facing hardships purchasing enough food, according to Executive Assistant Director John Weed. BronxWorks' Morris Heights location had to cut back on the food bags it gives out hungry residents. Weed said the organization is in need of government funding and private donations, which also allows BronxWorks to staff their operations. Right now, they mainly rely on volunteers. To learn more about BronxWorks, to volunteer, or donate, visit bronxworks.org. A 114-year-old Dominican chocolate shop opens its doors in Brooklyn. The business has been in the Dominican Republic since 1905 under the name Rizik Cacao, and as it happens with most gentrification, it too has changed its name and now simply goes by Cacao. The shop sells bars made from cacao grown on the family-owned farms of Hector Jose Rizik and Nadia Rizik, and sells chocolate beverages and baked goods made on site. The shop is located at 97th North 10th Street between Wythe Avenue and Berry Street. And I have to say, if anyone heads over, please bring me a slice of bizcocho. I haven't had cake in a ridiculously long time, and honestly, that picture we put up looks really amazing. I have to say that. On Sunday, July 21st, the 9th annual Grace Jerk Festival takes place at Roy Wilkins Park in Queens. Billing itself as New York's biggest Caribbean food and music festival, it brings along some amazing food vendors such as Kingston Grill, T&G Flavors, and Yogi's Restaurant. Tickets are available to purchase at jerkfestivalny.com or purchase them right here in the Bronx at Moody's Records and People's Choice Furniture, located in White Plains Road. And that, my friends, is this week's Chew News, providing you with a little food for thought. All right, folks, grab a snack. Foodie Down Bronx. We'll be right back.
I'm Alexis, and I'm the owner of Bronx Bake & Co. and we produce hand-rolled German-style pretzels in Port Morris. I was born in the Bronx, and my family's from the Bronx, and I wanted to start a baking business. The business is based in Port Morris, which is a great spot. It's easy to produce here. It's easy to transport our products from here. We're very much near Hunts Point, which is a major food hub and a place where we can get anything we need anytime we need it. We make hand-rolled German-style pretzels, which you really can't find anyplace else in New York City. So this is how it begins. And what we do is we leave a bump in the middle, and we kind of bounce the pretzel dough out until we have skinny arms and a fat bottom. And we cross it. And that is a pretzel shape. The traditional German-style pretzel has the skinny arms and sort of a wider bottom. It's a deep mahogany color. It's usually very shiny. It has a high sheen. You can almost see yourself in it. It's not very salted. It's soft, but with a really distinct crust that has like a nice salty, bitter finish. So this is a lye bath. It's a food-safe chemical that is dissolved in water, and the pretzels go into this right before they are baked. And it's what produces the dark, shiny crust and that salty finish that a pretzel has. We're very intimate with the pretzel as far as making it. It's really made by hand in small batches. And we can't mimic that with big machines in large batches. It doesn't really come out the same. But what I will say is that you can tell who made what pretzel in the bakery here. It's a very intimate, like almost the baker's thumbprint is on that pretzel. We can make them very classic or kind of exciting. We make a cheese pretzel, an everything pretzel, a bacon pretzel, your classic salted. We make a jalapeno cheese pretzel. We'll try anything. It's a very versatile product. In the Bronx, we sell our pretzels to Gun Hill Brewery, Bronx Brewery, Bronx Beer Hall. We mainly do food service, but we also do some markets and events, and if you want to call us for your party, we'll send you pretzels there as well. The entire point was to make a great product and produce it in the Bronx and strongly align the product with the borough. We really are very proud of our product, very proud of the product. We try really hard to make it as good as it could possibly be, and we feel like we've made a distinctive mark in the food landscape of New York City and the Bronx. If you see our product, you can tell it's our product, and if you taste it, you can taste the difference.
Welcome back. La Masa is a Colombian restaurant located in the wonderful Morris Park section of the Bronx, serving up some truly delicious vegan dishes alongside some non-vegan dishes as well. I recently came across this restaurant as I searched for vegan options across the borough, and I have to say that I truly lucked out with this one. Let's take a look at my visit over. Hey guys, so we're about to enter La Masa restaurant. See it right there. It's a Colombian restaurant located in Morris Park that is offering up some really delicious sounding vegan options. So we're gonna get inside, we're gonna take some pictures, have some food, and hopefully everything turns out wonderfully. I'm really, really excited to try them out. I want you to come in with me. Let's do this. Okay, so we're inside La Masa and we have ourselves a beautiful, epic vegan spread. Let's take a look at what we have here. Here we have some sausage and peppers, which look really amazing. Again, all vegan. Here we have a beautiful portobello mushroom burger, which looks insane. And right here we have a big old patacon. All of it looks seriously amazing. I'm really into food coma. So I'm gonna fall asleep because the food was really delicious, but there's always room for dessert. I think there's room for dessert. So their in-house made vegan whipped cream is insane. Josh Montalvo helps run this family-owned establishment, and he is here today to bless us with some of his food. Welcome to the show, Josh.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, my man. Thank you. So as I mentioned before, I was searching around some vegan options around the Morris Park area, and I walked into your restaurant with the intent of grabbing a menu to use it in 3 weeks after I was done with my veganism. And then I realized that you had so many options on there, really like an entire menu's worth of vegan options. And to me, that said to me there had to be a reason why. So there has to be a story as to why you added so many vegan options. Let me know why.
So the story behind this restaurant itself is my daughter. She has an allergy. Every time we went out to eat, it would be a hassle, it would be an issue just to be able to eat with her on the same table. So when we started designing the restaurant, the menu, and from there on, we wanted everybody to be included in that table. So if you're vegan, if you have an allergy, if you like something or you just don't like something, you will be able to sit down at the same table and order from the same menu. I didn't want anybody to be excluded or feel different just because you didn't want to eat something or you couldn't eat something. So in simple words, that's what happened.
So your daughter was the reason why you decided to change the menu. How many years have you had the vegan options on the menu there?
The vegan options have always been there. Past the first year, we started letting people know that we had vegan options. And as our restaurant grew and the menu grew, we always included more options.
Right.
We didn't want to isolate vegan people or veganism into a category is just food. So
Right.
if you go out to eat with your family, you just want to have an experience. You want to have a gathering of thoughts. You just want to spend a good time with your family, with your friends, or whoever. But it doesn't mean that you need to be excluded or feel different just because you're not following the regular or the norm.
I think that's great because, you know, when I jumped into doing this vegan challenge for myself, I found out very quickly that it is quite limiting when I go out with friends, because it all boils down to just vegetables, right? Most restaurants I go to, that's their only vegan option. It's just vegetables. And if I wanted a wrap, I'd have to get a vegetable wrap. If anything else would just basically be French fries, I guess, for me. And I think that
And ketchup.
and ketchup. It's a good serving of vegetables. And so I quickly appreciated what you guys had. And so when I went there, the burger that I had that I absolutely loved is right here with us right here, the portobello mushroom. Can you tell me a little bit about this? Because this burger really was, I mean, I can't say it's my favorite thing I had because I also had the sausage and peppers, which were amazing. I had the patacon, so it's kind of hard to really boil down which one I like the most. But this one right here, can you tell me just a little bit about it? How it's prepared, everything.
This burger, as simple as it sounds, is portobello mushrooms, vegan cheese, avocado, and light seasoning on the mushroom. From there on, you just enjoy it.
And how's the reception been in that neighborhood to the vegan options? Do you see more people ordering it because they're just sort of curious as to what you guys are offering? Because I know that, you know, a lot of Colombian restaurants that I go to don't even offer this. They don't even offer anything vegan. And so do you see people coming in and going for the more vegan options, or do you have people that, ask you more questions about it?
Okay, so as far as Latin food, it's very meat oriented. There has to be some type of protein, animal protein. Not realizing that within our culture, there's already a lot of options that are vegan.
Yes.
We just don't realize it.
Very true.
Now, in our restaurant, we wanted to do something different. There are countless restaurants that are Colombian. We wanted to do something a little bit different, include everybody into our restaurant, and the reception has been overwhelming. Our locals, there's a lot of people that are vegan, and there's a lot of us that are exploring what veganism is. So myself, I'm not vegan, but I can enjoy any of these dishes at any given point in time, and I'm not gonna miss any type of protein, animal protein.
Right.
We have people coming from the city, from all over the Bronx, parts of Queens, Connecticut, or Westchester, looking for vegan options that they just don't find in their neighborhoods. So the reception has been great.
Wonderful.
People call us, let us know that what else can we do. If we can do catering, vegan catering, if we can mix certain things in there. So a lot of people think that being vegan, you have to be limited on what you eat. Once you open that door, you just realize that there's so many options that you can have and enjoy. And to somebody that's not vegan, they'll be able to share a dish that, you wouldn't think you'll like.
Right. I have to agree. So I've been doing this for a little over a month right now, and I've noticed that my cravings have changed. Finding alternatives for food is really eye-opening. And also I feel more satiated during the day, eating less meat. I actually feel full quicker by eating different things. For example, like something like this, I think if I had that portobello mushroom burger as a meat eater, I don't think I would have personally felt satiated. I wouldn't have felt full the way that I like to feel full. And I felt with this, it was just so satisfactory and so amazing. How many people do you gauge, know about your restaurant from social media?
That's a hard question. I wouldn't be able to answer.
Does anyone come up to you and just sort of like show you a picture on their phone and say, I want to eat this? Can you make me this? What is this?
I would say a lot of people do come up to us and whip the phone out. What's this?
Right.
So we do get a lot of that. How many people? That's hard.
But a good number. Enough that you know that your social media is definitely making an impact on the business.
Social media has moved our vegan menu and our vegan options to an extreme.
That's amazing.
If it would have been just on paper, we would have never received the same response. Through social media, we have been able to reach a lot of people that can come and actually enjoy a vegan dish and not just lettuce and tomato.
Right.
Because if you're a vegan, lettuce and tomato is not an actual dish.
Right. But it's also one of my favorite dishes to go to when I have no idea what else to make, because there's only so much fake chicken and fake this and fake that I can have, that I have to sort of revert back to having something like this portobello mushroom. Now, I'll stop going crazy over this mushroom. You've brought two other dishes here that I love to talk about. This one right here in front. What is this right here?
This right here is something so simple, delicious, savory, sweet at the same time. It's just a sweet plantain, maduros, or maduro, and we stuff it with portobello mushrooms and onions.
And that's going back to the point that you had made previously, is about Latin food, that so much of it is already vegan, right? But we just tend to add the meat because it's sort of part of our culture and part of our, sort of...
It's part of our culture to have animal protein. We use mushrooms, we use onions on our everyday cooking, and maduros is something that I cannot eat without.
Right.
So we already had it. We just needed to mix it.
So, do you prefer maduros or tostones?
Maduros.
Maduros.
I'm a sweet guy.
Man, we have a first disagreement here. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. And then what do we have here?
That is Beyond. So the new crave right now, it's Beyond Burgers.
So that's a Beyond Burger.
That's a Beyond Burger. We've taken it and we took one of our staple burgers in the restaurant and we converted it vegan. So we have a Beyond Burger, beans, vegan cheese, and again, mushrooms just because it gives it that extra texture.
Right.
So we are simulating our carrilera burger, which normally will be a beef patty, beans, pork, and melted cheese.
Wow. That looks amazing. And was this on the menu when I went there?
No,
No. So
that's
this
one of the
is this,
surprises.
oh, I see. So this is off the menu item, or is this going to be on the menu?
That will be on the menu, but if you walk in today, you'll be able to order it today.
Really? So this is, wow, this is beautiful. Okay. This one I might have to like take a bite out of.
That's all for you.
This looks really amazing. And what was the name of the burger that this is based on?
Carrilera.
Carrilera. Wow. It's amazing. Just give me 1 second. I just have to like look at this beautiful thing here. This is gorgeous. Wow. Do you mind if I just,
Go right ahead. It's all for you.
oh my goodness. Hold on. Okay. Just give me 1 second, guys. I have to like indulge right now because this looks way too good. Mm-hmm.
I guess it's good.
Incredible. All right, guys, grab yourselves a snack. I say go for some apple chips while I enjoy this. Foodie Down Bronx will be right back.
Okay, so travesias means to travel or journey. That's the literal translation. Well, I'm born and raised in the South Bronx, Suns Point area. Over the last 6 to 7 years, I've actually been traveling all over the world, and I've brought back a lot of different recipes, spices, culinary techniques and styles from around the world. And instead of opening a traditional Mexican or Cuban or Dominican restaurant, I actually did a Latin fusion. So a lot of our plates here are Latin Asian, Latin Indian, Latin combinations. It's a real fun menu. We say that there's something for everybody. We have everything from pastas to steaks to burgers to tapas, from with different types of flavors and styles. One of our top selling appetizers is called the chimi slider. Is actually a fusion between Dominican, which is a chimichurri, which is a Dominican street burger, and patacon from Venezuela, which is, they usually make a lot of sandwiches with tostones, which is mashed plantains. Everyone's been very supportive, everybody's very happy. They're very interested in what we have to offer as far as the type of cuisine, very different. We've had, most recently, Mayor Bill de Blasio. Ruben Diaz is one of his favorite spots to come to. Well, I would like to welcome everyone to Travesias and come find out what we're about. An experience here at Travesias is definitely not just going out to eat. It's a very small restaurant. We have about 65 seats. It's a very cozy, friendly, for a regular, like a date night or a night out with friends. I always say this is like a place you can bring your mother.
back to Foodie Down Bronx. I'm your host, M, the Hungry Dominican, and I'm joined on set by Josh Montalvo of La Masa Restaurant. Josh, so I just took a bite out of this burger right here, which I really, really love. You said this is an Impossible Burger.
Beyond.
Beyond. So have you had a chance to try both Beyond and Impossible?
Yes.
Which one do you prefer? Which one makes sense for you to make your burgers with?
I would say the Beyond.
The Beyond.
I have more access to it.
Okay.
And I think that's one of the biggest issues as a restaurant owner, having access to vegan options to offer to all my customers.
Right.
It's limited. So whenever we want to introduce something new to the menu, we have to study how consistent can we keep it on the menu.
So then, so when you go out and you look for, either option, you find that finding the Beyond one is just easier to get your hands on.
At this moment, yes.
Right. And do you have they both, they have at this point, they both have very distinct tastes.
Yes, they do.
And you feel that you've lucked out anyway having your Beyond Burger. You feel like this is the best one you could have for your food, regardless if you have, access to it or not.
Yes.
Wonderful. You also mentioned that you were planning on doing a vegan bakery in the Bronx. Can you tell me more about that?
We are exploring the idea. Well, actually, we're beyond an idea. We want to go ahead and open up a bakery where we can have the same thing that we have in the restaurant, same thing in the bakery. You pick up your bread, mainly Colombian bread, but you can also pick up your vegan cupcakes, vegan cakes, vegan breads. So anybody can walk in and have something and not feel that they have to go to a different place just to get what you want.
Right. So you said it's beyond an idea. So how far along are you with the vegan bakery?
We already have looked into a couple of places.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe in a couple of months, we should be already operating.
And would it be close to La Masa?
We are looking somewhere close to La Masa so we can control what we are doing. And I don't like to spread out too much.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency is key. So I've learned throughout the years that I need to be present. So that would be the only issue going far out from the restaurant.
So then it's safe to say that you have your hands in the operations every day. You're in the restaurant every day, overlooking what's going on, quality control, all that.
I touch and taste pretty much everything that goes out to the restaurant.
You are a lucky man, I have to say.
I purchase
You're a lucky
pretty
man.
much everything that goes into the restaurant.
Right.
So any dish that's in the restaurant, I would know what's in it.
So does that mean that you are also involved in your own social media heavily?
I rely on my sister. She does a lot of it. And, social media has expanded our search for people, and it's just been great. To us, it's been great. Instagram has brought people that we would have never thought of having in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
It brought you.
Yeah, that's true. Well, thank you for that. And do you guys have an active Facebook page as well?
Yes, we do. La Masa Empanadas.
La Masa Empanadas. That's on Facebook.
That's on Facebook, yeah.
And your Instagram is?
La Masa _restaurant.
_restaurant. So I want to continue going with the social media. How long have you had La Masa on Instagram? Was it a day one type of thing, or did you realize that social media was a necessary factor in the restaurant?
Pretty much day one.
Day one.
Day one.
Okay.
Over the months and over the years, then we started putting more focus on it. We're still not there yet. We're not professionals at it. We're just learning our way. But I think it's something that we're going to start doing heavily just so we can reach more people and let other people know that we're here. We're offering things that you can have, and you can bring your friends, your family, your girlfriend, whoever you want to bring, and sit down at the same table and have different things and not feel isolated.
So let's talk a little bit about the food that you actually brought along so people can know what they're going to get themselves into when they walk into La Masa. So what did you bring for us here in studio?
In the studio, we have the Beyond Burger. We have the Portobello Burger. We have a Maduro Relleno with mushrooms and onions. On the other table, we have a pata con caché with vegan meat. We also have a Maduro Relleno and some empanadas.
And some empanadas.
You know.
Did you bring some vegan ones, I hope?
The ones on the table, they're all vegan. One of them is roasted vegetables. We can't keep up with it.
Really?
It sells a lot.
Really?
It sells to the point that I'm out of it about 2 times a week.
Wow, that's great.
All our portions are small,
Mm-hmm.
we like to have things fresh.
Right. Right.
So our empanadas are made in small batches every day. There's a person constantly doing empanadas in the restaurant.
Wow, that's amazing. So I had the apple pie empanada, and it's really amazing. And I realized that also going through this whole vegan thing, I don't have much of a sweet tooth anymore. And so when I had the empanada, the baked apple pie one, it was so delicious because I hadn't had something that sweet in so long. And I felt like when I was eating meat, I was eating more sweet foods. Therefore, I really wouldn't appreciate what I was putting, sort of into my mouth and tasting. And I could taste how fresh the empanadas were, even if it's, a sweeter one that you guys make. So you said the roasted vegetable one is your best seller. Out of all the ones that you have?
No, they all sell out.
Right.
On the vegan side, I can't keep up with them. The
Really?
apple pie is my daughter's favorite, and many times she's complained that she can't have it because we don't have it. So it's something we are right now working to keep up with the demand. Our apple pie empanada starts off with a regular apple. I don't buy a filling. I don't buy anything. I just buy the apple.
Right.
And from there on, it just starts.
That's amazing. That's so great. I'm really happy that I walked into your restaurant. I'm really happy that I met you. I really appreciate you having these vegan options on your menu. It really does a great service to the entire community, and it's going to really help me in the last 3 weeks that I have left for veganism, which has been great. But like you said when you first started talking here, it's limiting. So I'm sort of I'm looking forward to having more of your vegan food, but I'm actually really looking forward to having a lot of your non-vegan food coming up in August. So I just thank you for what you and your family do. I think it's awesome. Stay connected with Josh Montalvo on Instagram. Follow La Masa _restaurant and make sure to pay them a visit at 1000 Morris Park Avenue. All right, folks, grab yourselves a snack. Foodie Down Bronx will be right back.
Bistro was initially an inception to be an homage to hip-hop. Hip-hop was created in the Bronx. This whole place is an homage to that. It's a callback to the beginning of hip-hop, to when it first started in this borough. Everything is unique about Bistro. That goes from the murals that are throughout the entire venue. That goes to the artwork, which was by Joe Conzo. That goes to the furniture, which was reclaimed from an antique furniture shop across the street, reupholstered around the corner. The chandeliers came from a Broadway play that was reclaimed by a lighting company around the corner as well. We tried to keep everything in here as local as possible, so that this way it spoke true to the borough. We want people to come in and feel at home and have that retro feel, but feel that it's been upgraded and feel very modern to it. In the 70s, when hip hop was created, it was by Black and Latino children. And when they came home, what is it that their parents were feeding them? What is it that they ate? We wanted to take that food, elevate it a little bit, and kind of mix it together. So we have an Afro-Latino or Afro-Caribbean menu. So we have chicken and waffle, we have churrasco, this whole melding of 2 different cultures. I'm born and raised in the Bronx, and it was very important for us to bring something to this community, not just take from the community. But at the same time, we're bringing something back, and that's what initially started in the South Bronx. So far, the community has been great. From our grand opening to today, we've been supported by local businesses, by local elected officials, by actors, by athletes. Willie Colon from the New York Jets. We've had Red Alert. We've had this huge outpouring, not just from the larger community, but from the community, the local community, and that's people who live in the area. This is honestly a labor of love. And we feel that when you put your love and your all into something, it will come back tenfold. We just want people to come by and experience what it's like to be here, what it was like to be in the South Bronx at that time, what it was like to experience music at that time, and kind of have a different flavor and a different taste and leave with something that they didn't necessarily expect, which is what the borough of the Bronx is. People who are from outside this borough expect one thing but experience another. And we want this restaurant to be the same.
Welcome back to Foodie Down Bronx. I'm your host, M, the Hungry Dominican. Our next guest is one of the most amazing and inspirational people I've met off Instagram. She has a popular and beautiful page on the site. She's an amazing photographer who's worked with some incredible brands. She's the host of Let's Talk About It on Amazon Prime. She is the founder of Melanin Magic Brunch, which I've co-hosted with her twice. And she was my co-host for the Foodie Down Bronx panel back in April. Please welcome to the show, Renaissance woman Rosanna Anil.
What
Thank
a great
you.
introduction. I feel so honored.
I am so happy that you're here with me. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so proud of you, Em.
Thank you. You know, I really do mean that. I'm being very, very sincere. You are an inspiration to me
Thank you.
because you are not just a positive person, but I see you hustle.
Yeah.
I see you put in a lot of work in what you do. I think the content that you create on Instagram, as beautiful as it is, people have to understand that there is an intent behind it, that there is a lot of motivation behind it. One of them being your daughter.
Yes.
I know she's a huge factor in what you do.
Yes.
And I want to start off by asking you about your page, but I want to do it in the sense that, do you think Instagram, if it had not been around, you still would have been on the same track that you're in right now?
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, no. Instagram changed everything.
Right.
You know, so many times I meet other people who are like on the cusp of starting their own entrepreneurial journeys or their own journeys in a creative field.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, you know, they get discouraged because maybe they're a certain age or maybe they haven't had training or they haven't been doing it long enough. And it's just like we are in this digital space in this age where, you know, you could literally make anything, do anything, advertise it, and make money.
Yeah.
You know, I had a long career in hospitality management, working in hotels, restaurants, catering, banquets. I kind of ended that career in event planning and event management. And that's kind of like around the time where Instagram was really booming. And transitioning to a creative field, it didn't click right away, but I don't think I could have done this in another space, like in another time. I don't think I could have picked up the camera and dived into like food styling and all that jazz prior to Instagram. It really changed the game.
Were you always into photography though? Because your photography is amazing.
No. I didn't. I to be quite honest, I was very much a businesswoman. Like I didn't think that I had any kind of creativity within me. And it wasn't until I became a parent and I decided that I wanted to work for myself that everything kind of just fell into each other. It just all aligned for me. And picking up the camera, not knowing how to shoot, not knowing, you know, how to change the shutter speed or ISO and like lighting and composition and food styling, all of that came together in this beautiful alchemy of NYC Food Muse. It just kind of like clicked, and then I ran with it and I started taking off.
And so you've had no sort of interest in photography before. You had no background in photography before. When did you take that jump to fully embrace NYC Food Muse? Because I remember when I did it for myself. I was doing my 9 to 5. I was trying to figure out, balancing out the Instagram and my, so-called real life, I guess.
Yeah.
And I found that my real life, I guess, was getting in front of the things that I wanted to do. You fully embraced Instagram.
I did.
did you have a moment when you did it? Was it like a particular, let's say, event, or you got hired for a shoot and you said, "This is what I have to do 100%. This is me going forward."
I mean, I first want to say you were one of the first food accounts that I started to follow, and I was really inspired by what you were doing.
Thank you.
It's really, it's such a whirlwind. And like, to be quite honest with you, I was home caring for my infant, at the same time cooking meals, and it fell into this rhythm where like I was really composing dishes in my little kitchen in the Bronx. And I one day made a dish that was really beautiful, and I went to capture it with my phone, and it didn't do it justice. And you know, by just the luck of the universe, I happened to have had my sister's Canon camera that you know, using for another project, shooting on auto settings, and I decided to take it and start shooting the food that I was making. And I'm like, okay, you know, maybe this will be a blog. Like maybe this will just be something that, you know, a stay-at-home mom can do on the side to just feel fulfilled, because everyone's living these glamorous lives on Instagram. And, you know, the blog slowly turned into me wanting more, me thinking like, yo, I could make a business out of this. I could really like provide for myself and my daughter through this. And I literally took all of those photos from my little humble blog and decided to start submitting to gigs. I was first hired by Uber Eats. Then I started shooting for other apps like MealPal and DoorDash. And then through that, as I'm really getting into my craft, I'm focusing more on styling. I started getting more attention from brands and influencer marketing agencies. And it all kind of just fell together, and I really just started to just roll with it. I didn't even know what was unfolding, if I'm honest with you. It was really just blind faith.
Yeah. I relate to that a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't overthink anything that I was going through. I just sort of let it happen. And
the best
then
way.
yeah, it really is. You can't overthink anything really, especially like, you know, in this world where things are just so fast. That the best thing to do is, you know, it is a blind leap of faith, but you do it, and you do it with good intentions, and then, you know, the whole abundance thing, right? You just manifest it, and it keeps coming and coming. So yeah, but I just wanted to make that point that I realized that there was a point in your page where, yeah, things were starting to change, and I hadn't even met you yet, and I realized that, wait a minute, she was home in the Bronx making food, and now all of a sudden I see this brand, I see that brand, something must have happened, something must have changed. And then you and I finally met a couple of years ago in one of the oddest places that I think. It's called, nothing against Tommy Bahamas, but this is like, it's a restaurant that's also a clothing store, which confuses me a lot.
They had great cocktails that night.
They had great cocktails.
I remember.
As you walk down like the extra men's shirt section, like the extra large, you know, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what's happening. But we met at this really interesting event where it took place in this Tommy Bahamas.
I can't believe you remember that.
Oh, yeah.
I completely forgot.
Yeah, there were amazing cocktails, amazing shrimp, and some great sales.
Shrimp,
some really great sales. What was going on? But I recognized you, and I mean, I was a little bit timid, but I really wanted to like just talk your head off, because I just wanted to ask you so many things. And soon after we met, that's when you hit me up with the idea of doing the Melanin Magic Brunch. So talk to me about that. Where did that idea come from? Because when you told me the intent of it, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, you're part of the influencer world, even though we are first and foremost content creators. Because we have a following of a certain amount, we're kind of looped into this influencer realm, and within that realm, we get invited to a lot of events. And what I was noticing is that in these events, I was maybe one or two people of color that were there, which, you know, isn't a big deal, but it did feel a little cliquey. And I was just like, you know, I wanted to create an environment, an event in which we celebrated the creatives, people of color in the food and beverage industry. And that's really how Melanin Magic started. And I hit you up and I was like, you know, let's do something for us, for our people, for, you know, all of the amazing creatives that are out there capturing food or doing blogs or whatever their medium was, and just really celebrating them. And it was a huge success.
It was amazing. We did it. The first one was at the Bronx Public.
Yes.
And yeah, when you had messaged me and you said, let's do this, it was something that even I knew in the back of my head was there was something missing in these events I was going to. But I don't know, I guess subconsciously I was like, I know what's missing, but I don't want to really say it. And then when you just sort of said it to me, I was like, you're right. It needs to be a little different for us because we're a part of this big world, and yet we don't feel represented.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I was so happy when you basically said to me, "Hey, man, pay attention to what's not there." Right, because it's easy to get blinded by all this amazing, food and stuff. But we'll continue that conversation when we come right back. All right, guys, grab yourselves a snack. Foodie Down Bronx. We'll be right back.
Social Club has been here for about 9 months now. We do wood-fired pizza in our oven there. Everything we do here is homemade, from the dough to basically every ingredient we use is fresh. Our chef, Tom, is trained in Italy. He's owned a couple other restaurants before, and this is kind of his specialty. We love this neighborhood. I've lived in this neighborhood for 7 years. And the neighborhood is still growing. The residents really want more diversity in the restaurant, so we thought it'd be something that the neighborhood would really like to have. So far, the response is great. I mean, everybody loves the food. I think people are really happy to have something different than the other places that have been around here for a while. The focus is the stuff that comes out of the oven behind me. The pizza is the main thing that we do here, and then beyond that, homemade meatballs and spaghetti. It's just kind of comfort food, especially for this time of year. We have pub buffalo wings. They're made with cherry peppers and a vinegar brine. They're really tasty. The oven we got, it's called a Pavesi spinner. It's made in Italy, and one of the cool features of it is that the deck spins so that it helps cook the pizza evenly. So we always get the consistent pizza we like. So we had locally well-known graffiti artist who goes by Tracy168, so we brought him in to kind of keep the local vibe. And we're here 7 days a week, open for lunch and dinner, and I hope everybody in Kingsbridge, Riverdale area and beyond throughout the Bronx, come check it out.
I think what makes Havana Cafe special or different is just our overall environment. It's not just a restaurant.
80% of our guests are return customers, which is wonderful for us. It's become a neighborhood gem. This is a restaurant that serves predominantly Cuban dishes.
We have a really well-rounded menu. We have vegetarian, we have vegan options. We also have great sandwiches. Regardless of what you're looking for, we have traditional Latin food, we have traditional Cuban food, but we also have lighter fare. We have a very well-rounded menu, and there's something for everybody.
So we have mojitos. Our bartenders are first class.
Our mojitos are hand-muddled, every single one. What people should expect when they come here is that they encounter a family-friendly environment.
I think most of all, what I want people to experience and walk away with is a feeling that they walked in somewhere where they were made to feel like they were at home.
The overall ambiance, the overall feel of family and community and comfort and friendliness that they encounter when they come here, it's genuine. And I think people, they sense that.
To me, Latin cuisine is really an emotion. It has a lot to do, obviously, with good ingredients, but it's about the passion that you put into the food that you do. And that's what we want people to feel when they come here.
Welcome back to Foodie Down Bronx. I'm joined on set by Rosanna Anil, also known as @NYC Food Muse on Instagram. So Rosanna, we were talking about our first brunch together. We had it at the Bronx Public. We recently had the second one at Charlie's Bar and Kitchen.
Yes, that was amazing.
Amazing food, awesome time. I love this initiative that you started. I think it's necessary. I think it's awesome. You have to continue it, and of course, I would also love to continue co-hosting it with you.
Absolutely.
I also want to say, one of the reasons that I just love you is because
I love you.
you were also the person who said to me about the Foodie Down Bronx panel. I had this idea. This idea sort of didn't work out in one venue, but you said, don't stop with this idea.
No.
Let's continue to do this panel. Let's do exactly what you wanted to do. And then we flash forward to April 25th, and we are at the Port Morris Distillery. We had this amazing venue with amazing people. We had No Carne there. We had Empanology. We had Trill Cooker.
Yes.
We had so many people that night. And honestly, when I talk to people about that panel, I always mention you because you literally were the person who, the same way that you messaged me about the brunch, you messaged me about this, and you were
When
like,
I get an
"Don't."
idea.
Yeah, you were like, "Don't give up on it." So I wanted to thank you about that. Talk to me about your experience with the panel because that night was a beautiful night. It was really positive. A lot of people were just sort of psyched to be in a room with all of these great panelists.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing experience. So how, on your end, how was that experience for the panel like?
I mean, it was amazing. I expected nothing but the best from the influencers and the restaurant owners that we invited to come to the panel. I felt like everybody really got a sense of what we were really there to do. We were there to talk about how we can bridge the gap between this influencer, Instagram, social media generation and a lot of the restaurants and establishments that are in the Bronx
Right.
so that we can get the right exposure. It was such a beautiful conversation. I felt like everybody came with really important questions. They came excited to learn. BronxNet also visited us
Yes,
and
yes.
was able to shed some light on what we were doing. And now you have this show. And I think, the end result of all of this is really just about exposure, right? It's
Yeah.
really just about connecting people
Absolutely.
to the good food. And the good food isn't always in Manhattan. It isn't always in Queens or Brooklyn. I love all the boroughs.
Yeah.
But there is this borough that is buzzing with wonderful cuisines and wonderful restaurants that, I feel with people who have statuses like us, we need to be utilizing it to showcase what's
I agree.
really happening.
I agree. I reached a point where I was like, all right, so I have this platform, and this platform's pretty great, and has a nice size following. It's got to be more about just going out and getting freebies because that's a nice perk and all. But what can I use my platform how can I use it in a more positive way? And so the panel was something that you gave me that extra push. I had been hoping it would happen. It happened, and now, like you said, it leads to the show. And again, it's another platform for putting people on that need a voice in this borough.
Absolutely.
Whether you're from here and you've left, or whether you've always been here, if your connection to the BX is sincere and strong, and you're in the food business, and you're in the influencer business, this is where I wanted people to come to.
Absolutely.
Because there's so much happening here in the borough. I wanted to quickly talk about your show on Amazon. Let's
Yes.
talk about it.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So season 1 is out right now. It's about 5 episodes. I visit different taco spots, different boroughs, trying all types of tacos from traditional to more innovative, more fusion cuisine. The real push behind the show was first my love of tacos.
Of course.
Also my love of just creating content. Having done a few on-camera stuff before, everyone was kind of giving me that push, like, Rosanna, you need to have your own show, you need to do your own thing. I partnered with a really awesome filmmaker named Marcus Reyes, and he had his own connection to Amazon Prime.
Right.
And it was just, we were able to kind of like
Oh, that's fantastic.
sneak our way in there. The numbers are doing well. People are really responsive to the content. We're working on more content, more shows.
Fantastic. That's so awesome.
And it's turned into its own thing,
Mm-hmm.
and I've really just embraced it. I'm still doing my photography, still doing my food styling, but the hosting is really something that I've come into, and
Right.
I feel you coming into it as well.
Oh man, I hope I'm doing okay.
You are amazing. You're amazing.
Thank
And
you.
I feel like, this is our time. This is our time to do it. If not now, then when? In
Yeah.
a political climate where we are celebrating, more and more celebrating diversity
Yes.
and people of color, like, this is our time to shine.
I agree. And of course, how can what better way to do it than through food?
Absolutely.
Right,
It's
knowing-
such a common, you
Yeah.
know, commonality brings people
Literally
together.
brings people together.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, what other goals do you have as an influencer? What else do you want to achieve with your platform? You've
mean,
achieved so much already, but what else do you want to achieve?
Thank you. I mean, obviously, I want to continue producing more content. I want to touch other platforms, Netflix, Hulu.
Awesome.
I want to branch out and host more influencer events, more panel discussions. I'm working on a panel discussion right now that I'm partnering with an amazing creative agency, and we're going to be hosting it at Port Morris Distillery.
Very
so
cool.
I'm going to let you know about
Such a great
that.
spot, yeah.
And basically, the panel is going to celebrate women of color in the food and beverage industry, but as business owners. So whether
That's
they have a
amazing.
product or a service or a pop-up location, and just really shedding some light, because women entrepreneurs are like the fastest growing group, especially
Yeah.
Black women entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And this is the time. This is the time to really start showcasing that and sharing the knowledge, right?
Yes.
Because everyone's successful in their own right, but there could be another person coming up who wants, you know, that inside information.
And they
on
need to
how
hear
get
it. They need to
started.
hear it. They just do.
They
do.
need the representation. They need to see a reflection of themselves in other entrepreneurs, so that they get the confidence to do it.
I love that. That's awesome.
On top of hosting more events, really just getting myself out there. As I've kind of put myself in front of the camera, I've also gotten some really great gigs as far as like commercial and print
Well,
stuff.
speaking of that, you do have something coming up later this summer with BronxNet, right?
I
Tell me
do.
about that, please.
Yes, it's called Bronx Taste with NYC Food Muse.
Awesome.
It's about 5 or 6 episodes. It's going to premiere late this summer. I'm really excited about it. Marcus and I teamed up again. We hit up some amazing Bronx restaurants. We went to
Awesome.
City Tamale. We went to Empanology. Where else did we go? We hit up a vegan Dominican spot that I know you're going to love.
Oh, yes.
Next
yes.
Stop Vegan. We had so much fun creating this, and we literally did this in a matter of weeks.
Love
so
that.
I'm like so impressed by the team and everyone. I can't wait. I can't wait to share this with
That's
you
so
guys.
great. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for all of your success. I can't
you.
wait for your projects coming up. I think you have just this amazing energy about you. And I think everything that's coming to you is well deserved.
I appreciate
So
that.
I'm really looking excited. I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of your more exposure.
Absolutely.
of
There's
everything.
so much coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, I'm just so happy for you. I want to
Thank
thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you for having me. This is such an amazing
you were supposed to
set.
be here episode 1, but you hustle, you work. So
It's all good.
so good.
I'll be back again.
we made it
got
happen.
Some plans.
We made it happen. Beautiful. All right, guys, to stay connected with Rosanna, follow her on Instagram at NYC Food Muse. Well, that's all for the show. Thank you again for tuning in, and thank you to our guests today, Josh Montalvo and Rosanna Anil, for joining us. Tune in every Thursday at 6:30 p.m., channel 67 and Optimum and Bios 33. Also tune in on the go at bronxnet.org or find us on YouTube. From BronxNet to the world, this is Foodie Down Bronx. I'm your host, M, the Hungry Dominican. Remember to feed your mind, feed your body, and if you see me coming along, feed me. Adios. Come, everyone.